Welcome to Two Small Biz Guys Biz Buzz. Stay tuned for an exciting small business discussion that will empower your business. And don't forget your free download of Ray's Crib Notes. Now, on with the show.
Hi, and welcome to another issue of our episode of Biz Buzz with Ray and Zen. I'm Zen Benefield, and this is
Ray Silverstein, and we're glad you're here.
Absolutely. Today we're going to talk about a book called Talent Management, How to Attract and Keep the Best People. So why top talent? For obvious reasons, you want to have the best people available to do the jobs that are required. But how do you get that?
Well, I think the aspect is this author believes that what you do is you create what he calls a talent magnet, and by being a better boss, having a brighter future for your people, and a bigger vision. But the aspect is, I think your first thing you have to say, do people or companies really want to do that? Because in order to do it, his philosophy is you just can't position yourself or state that you do certain things. You have to live and do it.
Right.
You have to practice what you preach.
Well, back when I was getting my degree in the 90s, one of the big things there was stressing participative management. And I think it's grown from that place where it's more participative leadership, not just management.
Yeah, that's true. What he's really referring to, but I think you need participative leadership and management. But the aspect is, he talks about going from, I'll call it ordinary talent, to really top talent. And the aspect is, people really, or the companies really think about having top talent.
Going from average to spectacular.
Yeah, or something like that.
Yeah, okay.
So if you really want to have a company that's going to have top talent, and not just ordinary talent or good talent, what do you really have to do? So he says the first thing really you need to do is to be a better boss. Now, why do people leave companies? It's not money. The number one study says it's not money. It's basically that people don't like their boss. So in order to be a better boss, it means you have communication.
It's all about relationships anyway. I mean, this is what, whether you realize it or not, this is an extended family. You're with probably more than you are your own family when you consider the time frames that are required now. And are those relationships or those families functional, or are they dysfunctional?
Well, it's okay. I think it's a good observation. If you have a functional family or a functional working environment, your people are more apt to stay. People are more apt to have more energy and be involved in the organization.
Well, if you enjoy who you're with and what you're doing, why would you want to go someplace else?
Okay, so this first aspect is being a better boss.
Right.
The second aspect is he talks about a brighter future. And he's talking about today's environment where people today join a company, and where years ago it used to be that people thought a job was a lifetime job. Now people look upon a job as a means of learning skills to take you to the next job.
Right. So, well, and even in that respect, when I was getting my MBA, the stress was on you. This company's not going to keep you forever. The average person at that point had 8 career changes.
Well,
and that was in the 90s. So I can imagine, we were talking on the last show about acceleration. When you've got that kind of acceleration in the marketplace and your turnover, I mean, you could have 13.
Well, it could be, but what happens is you find that younger people are more apt to change quicker than older people. So as a person's been in the job for a while, that change.
That's kind of our nature, though. I mean, you and I are like kind of set in our ways, and we adapt fairly easily to things. But I saw that. So,
his premise is that, okay, if you hire someone and you think, well, I'm just training that person for their next job, and it's not here, why should I bother training them?
Right.
Well, but the aspect is, if you have to look upon it in the aspect that you want this person to be with you. So in order to be with you, or in order to recruit them, you have to present a brighter future for them. And the future could be in your business or in someone else's business. And you create the future for them by a bigger vision for the organization.
So in the onboarding process, to get a little detailed in here, which I know you kind of prefer not to, but in the onboarding process, then would you be discussing the long-term value of that employee, what possible options are available to them as they progress, or would you even map out their professional development plan right then?
Well, that's fine if you're a bigger company. Smaller companies don't always have that.
Right.
But his premise is that you want to be a magnet to attract people who have this top talent skills,
Mm-hmm.
and therefore to do it, you in your business activities and your positioning, you're talking about the future, and you don't disregard these people as potential employees. Otherwise, you get what he calls a typical employee. So the premise is you want to attract these people, and then it's your job to create an environment for them to want to stay and make the company even better.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then he talks about the bigger vision. So the premise of the bigger vision is, what do you really do to present to people that, does the company have a vision statement? Do you talk about the vision statement? Do you talk about with the individuals? Where do you want to be 3 years from now, 5 years from now? Now, it's always interesting, you asked about the interview process. Right. If you ask somebody, where do you want to be 5 years from now? Most people don't really have an aspect where they want to be. So you're looking for people who are trying to move things forward. And also he refers to in the bigger vision, he says the people who have this top talent aspect are people who really want to make a contribution to the world. Now, the contribution to the world could be making your company better, making your product better for the world. It could also they want to also be involved in some charitable activity.
Right.
So it's not just a major world type of viewpoint.
So there is a trend of people, places, and things focused more on developing that brighter future with a bigger vision of, okay, we've done a lot of things to harm ourselves and our planet and all that. And so a lot of the companies now are looking to how to capitalize on making the world a better place.
Yeah. Well, so that aspect, that attracts certain people. So when you're talking in many of these peer advisory meetings about, okay, it's hard to find good people.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the aspects in finding good people is looking for people who have the same values or vision that you have. So if you believe if you believe that the local community needs something, you talk about your activity in the local community, and you attract people who do that. If you talk about that you want people who have a skill set in a certain area, you talk about your training programs in those areas.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't want everybody to apply. You only want those people to apply who really believe in you and want to follow you.
So you're putting some filters in the place to begin with.
No, they're not filters. They're basically positioning. It's really what he's really talking about is creating a marketing position like you do in sales.
Mm-hmm.
So, but if you want to get more information, what do they do?
Well, there's a thing called Crib Notes that Ray does a really amazing job on. And you can get Crib Notes on this book at propres.com/talent. That's propres.com/TALENT. And that'll also be referenced at the end of the show.
Well, I'll tell you what, in order for them to really want to get this stuff, they have to be a top talent person, and therefore they have to go to propres.com/talent, and that'll tell us who's really a top talent.
Yeah, that's for sure. And there'll be a lot more there for you too. Ray does peer groups here in Phoenix and Chicago, and he's been doing it for about 25 years. The guy's just a wealth of information that I'm constantly amazed by, and his peer groups reflect that. And they've been growing for years, and they've been stable as well. So if you're interested in joining one, you can check that out on propres.com as well. And there's an online version that we're going to be launching here soon, and you can check that out at peeradvisoryboard.com.
But be ready for my great humor.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a great guy to work with. And speaking of working with, we hope that you'll come back and work with us a bit in the future. For now, thanks for lasting to Biz Buzz with Ray and Zine. Yeah, I'll be okay.
Okay.
So I'm Zen.
And I'm Ray. Thank you.
Have a great one.
Hey, thanks for watching Two Small Biz Guys Biz Buzz, brought to you by Pro Peer Advisory Board. Stay tuned for more exciting small business discussions in future episodes. And don't forget your free download of Ray's Crib Notes for this show. See you next time.